You know, life was easier as a kid, before the weight of the world was on your shoulders. I don't know about you, but my toys were fun. They didn't sit on the shelf in the package. They got played with a lot. My name's Doug, and I miss my toys. For this episode, we're going back into the Intellivision. It was quite a revolutionary piece of gear back when it was released. It boasted 16-bit architecture with 16 glorious colors in 192 by 160 resolution. This video is in 1920 by 1080 resolution, which puts the native size of an Intellivision screen right about here. Seems pretty small when you look at it that way, doesn't it? Intellivision, when it came out way back when, organized its first-party releases into networks. There was the Arcade Network, the Children's Learning Network, Major League Sports Network, the Gaming Network, the Action Network, and the Space Action Network. This catalog circa 1982 shows many of the games listed by network on the back. Here's the Space Network with 5 games listed, and I had them all. Space Hawk, Star Strike, Astro Smash, Space Armada, and Space Battle. We're going to look at 2 of these Space Network titles today. Let's blast off. And now, INTELLIVISION in Space! The first one here is Space Armada, released by Mattel back in 1981. Space Invaders was an arcade phenomenon since its release around 1978, but people wanted to shoot aliens in the comfort of their own homes. Mattel, not to be left out of the Space Invader race, answered the call with Space Armada. This wasn't just a Space Invaders clone without the name. The aliens looked different, and they were even different colors. And they attacked in different ways as the difficulty increased and the player advanced. Let's see Space Armada in action. Okay, here we go with Space Armada. I'm going to select Game between Game and Practice, and we're off. Okay, you can see here, it's a lot like Space Invaders, but it's not quite the same thing. There's 4 rows of aliens. Every Armada is 4 rows of aliens, and I'm the little gun on the bottom underneath the bunkers shooting at these guys. As you progress through the game, things get more challenging. The guys will get faster as they get closer to the ground. As you can see, they're getting pretty close to me already. Now, if they land on the ground, the game is over. Or if you run out of cannons, the game is over. These guys are... there we go. They also, right now, they're just shooting these little squiggly bombs, but as they get on further and further, they shoot different kinds of bombs and get more challenging. Okay, I made it past that one. Now you can see the border changed here, so we're on to a different wave now. The color of the border changes every time you get to a new wave. Now, when you're 6 or 7 years old, which is how old I was when I got this game, you kind of come up with different things for these guys. So the orange guys were like jumping jack dudes for me. I don't even remember what the green guys were, probably gremlins or something. And those yellow stomper guys were like Egyptian things. I don't know why. You know, I'm 6 or 7 years old. And then the blue ones kind of look like can-can dancers because the way they move their legs. Anyway, so as you can see here, I'm into another wave now, and you can see they have a different kind of bomb there, that brown bomb that drops and explodes on the ground. That's how things progress along. And then eventually, as you go through here, oh, and there's also that UFO up top there. If you can hit the UFO, it'll grant you a new bunker for whichever one is destroyed the most. And as you can see, I don't have a whole lot of bunkers left, so I could have really used one. But anyway, as you continue on here, you get more bombs, they get more aggressive with the attacks, and then eventually they start turning invisible. And if I remember correctly, as you get further and further along, there are points where you get to levels where nearly all of them are invisible. So you kind of have to guess where you're shooting and make sure you're shooting in the right place so that you can actually catch these guys. And of course, you know, I told you about the UFO, and I never hit a single one of them in this demonstration. But anyway, let's get to the part here where I eat it. This is, you can see here the bottom 2 rows are just about all invisible, and they appear here and there. And I think that, you know, that I have them, but I actually wind up missing a couple of these guys, and they land. So that's the end of me there for that. But anyway, that's Space Armada. Now we're going to take a look at Star Strike, also from Mattel in 1981. This was quite a revolutionary title, featuring a head-on 3D perspective to play in. You had to navigate a trench in space and destroy all the targets before the aliens can blow up the Earth. This was a special experience in video gaming because, unlike a lot of games at that time, you could actually win and end this game, as opposed to going on with greater scores and challenges until you lost. When you're 7 years old and credited with saving the world, you feel pretty important. Let's look at Star Strike. I always thought this game looked really cool. It kind of reminded me of being in the trench in Star Wars. It's got that 3D perspective. You're that little blue ship there with the flat wings, and the ovals are the aliens. They're kind of hard to hit. As you can see there, I kind of, missed them. But suppose there, I just got hit by one. Supposedly, when they turn the lighter color, they're in front of you, so then you can hit them with your lasers. But it was still difficult to judge exactly when to hit them. The object here, you can see I just hit one, is to hit targets on the ground. You have to hit 5 targets on the ground and save the Earth from blowing up. You can see behind the big moon there that the Earth is starting to come into view. Well, it all depends on what level you're playing on as to when the Earth comes into view or how quickly things happen. There were 6 skill levels to choose from. I think I'm playing on, I'm not even sure. It might be 4, somewhere in the middle. Anyway, if you play on the hardest skill level of them all, there is no room for error. The Earth moves right to the center, and you cannot miss a single target. And if you miss one, it will blow up the Earth. So not the ships, but the things on the ground. The object is to get 5 of them. You got to bomb 5 targets, and that saves the Earth. Okay, and this is one of those games where you start with a score and it dwindles down as you play. When you hit ships, your score goes back up. Whenever you hear that beeping sound, that means that a target is coming on the ground. The faster you complete the whole thing, the more of a score that you're going to have at the end of it. And if you start at the highest level, at level 6, your score starts at 0 because you have no room to mess up. And then you get 50 points for each alien and 100 points for the targets. And you have to hit every target, like I said, or else you lose and the world blows up. So that's a bummer. I'll skip ahead a little bit so you can see. And that's the last target. You can see the screen shakes, the trench goes away, and I got my little victory song. And that's Star Strike. And those are a couple of games from the Space Network. Keep tuning in to I Miss My Toys, where we'll be looking at more fun stuff and more Intellivision stuff in the future. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and we'll see you the next time.